Everyone dreams of living an uncommon life, and the best asset you have to achieve your dreams is you. Welcome to the Uncommon Wealth Podcast. We're going to introduce you to people who are living uncommonly. We're also going to give you some tools and strategies for building wealth and for pursuing an uncommon path that is uniquely right for you.
Hello, welcome to the Uncommon Wealth Podcast. I'm your host, Phillip Ramsey.
And I'm Arron Cramer.
Coming at you with a simple step. Today we are talking about being or stop falling victim and start being the victor. Kind of interesting. All right. So I think if you're any kind of listener, or maybe you're just tuning in, one of our biggest things is like taking responsibility. I feel like Arron and I both have the tendency to rather do that than falling victim. I also feel like I have this tendency to be around more people who take ownership, and I would say then tend to be the victor, but just take ownership, even if it's not going well. And I feel like when you do that, then you can take control and you can start taking responsibility to move the needle in a different direction. When you turn in to be a victim, you're just a victim. Like, there's nothing that you can do. It's all done to me. There's nothing that you can handle. Like, it just seems like a very limited mindset, and then you can never get out of your own way. But when you're a victor, when you actually take ownership, you could be like, okay, what else can I change? Okay, that went bad. I can see where my responsibility was in that, and how can I change in the future? There seems like a lot more ownership and a lot more trajectory that you can change. That's how I have a tendency. But to be a victim instead of a victor seems to me like you take all your strengths away, and then you're just sitting there and just getting pummeled. Versus like, no, I'm going to take the reins here, take ownership. Maybe I failed, but at least we're going to change the trajectory. So be a victor, not a victim. That's my simple step.
In that simple step, I'll be the numbers guy here, or statistics or whatever. Statistically, the chances of a situation where you can just play victim and it actually making sense, where like you could, like, there's just no possible way that you couldn't have changed the outcome due to your betterment of yourself.
Yeah. What's the probability?
Is slim to none.
Yeah.
Like it has to, I mean, I don't have the actual number, but I'm just saying statistically, like you got to think about it. It's very low. Like,
right.
Because we all can go back and be like, oh, if I changed these things, the outcome would have been different. That's something you could have done better, and decisions you could have made better. So that's where you can own it and not play victim. Like, okay, learn from it, and the next time it won't happen.
Like, here's something, this example, because I was thinking, like, what could be something that, like, that wasn't on my thing? Like, it's having a deer hit you. Okay. Like, at first you'd be like, I didn't have anything to do with that. But the reality is, like, no, we were late. Or I was late. Does that make sense? If I left on time, that deer would never have been there. I need to be more on time. Like, so like there are things that you get, almost like the butterfly effect. Have you ever heard of that? Like the wing flaps in China, and then it's okay. But it is true. Like you can, or I tend to make it a practice of always trying to see my faults and my ownership in something.
And then I think the other thing that I really think about is how mad are you at the situation? Because if you're not, like, if it truly, there's like, you couldn't have done anything, right? Like, like, I don't want to go like bad scenarios, but like if you got rear-ended sitting at the light, you couldn't have done anything. Like you're at a red light and you got rear-ended, like, you're not really that upset because there's just nothing you could have done. It's like, this is a really bad situation, right? But typically you got to think about, if you're super mad about a situation, if something really made you upset, there's probably because there's something that you could have done better to make that situation not happen. And you're mad at yourself, but you're trying to reflect it onto somebody else.
It's good. Okay. So I want all the uncommon people, our uncommoners, to be a victor, not a victim. That's your simple step. Make it quick. Until next time, thanks for listening. You're listening to the Uncommon Wealth Podcast. I've been your host, Phillip Ramsey.
And I'm Arron Cramer.
Thanks for listening.
That's all for this episode, brought to you by Uncommon Wealth Partners. Be sure to visit uncommonwealth.com to learn more about our services. Don't miss an episode as we introduce you to inspiring people who are actively pursuing an uncommon life.